how I got started on this journey and how I truly changed my life. So I'm going to take you back to before all of this. And it was only 3 years ago that I started this, but I want to bring you back even further so you can really get an idea and a feel of like how I really started. So first and foremost, I grew up very poor. Like we weren't living on the streets or weren't living, wherever, but when I say grew up poor, I mean my mom was working every single night. When I was in kindergarten, I was staying home alone because she couldn't afford a babysitter, and she was just always gone working. I was that kid who honestly, when someone would drop me off, when my parents would drop me off, I would have them drop me off at a different house because I was embarrassed of where I lived. And actually, at one point, we lived right across the school that I went to, where I was riding my bike home, and there was another kid who was kind of riding nearby, and he saw me go up into our little apartment, and I hear him yell, "Nice home." And I just remember saying, "It's not mine, this is my aunt's house," because I was so embarrassed because everyone, all my other friends, like their families seemed to have a lot of money, and my mom was a smoker, and we just did not have a lot of money at all. I was the kid that would always run out of lunch money. I didn't ever have new nice clothes. I would like hope and pray for just new clothes for like Christmases and birthdays and stuff because I didn't have any of that. So growing up, I didn't have a lot of money. And then fast forward all the way to when I first started college, I was super excited. I did really well my first semester. But then I got broken up with and I went through a really tragic breakup. And yeah, I was only 18, but to me, and at the time, I was so in love, or I felt like I was so in love, and it was really devastating. And so it kind of trickled into this state of depression. And through that winter break, with the semester break, I couldn't get myself to go to work. I didn't ever want to hang out with any of my friends. None of them wanted to hang out with me because I was so down and droopy all the time. And then that led to me wanting to drink. I just wanted to go out and drink because that was fun to me. And my friends kind of liked me then because I was a little more lively than just crying and sleeping all the time. Coming into the semester, I was drinking 3 to 4 days during the week, every Friday, Saturday, and then we had Sunday fun day. And it was just this ongoing thing that's all I ever did was I wanted to drink, I would binge eat, I was skipping classes, I wasn't studying for exams, which led to me failing out of college my first year. So that was devastating to me because I was like, I'm gonna be the first one to graduate and I'm gonna make a lot of money and I'm just gonna be an awesome person. But this depression like took over my life, I felt like. And again, like I couldn't, going into the summer, I didn't have any money to my name. I had $0 to my name. I didn't have a car. I was borrowing my dad's car, and I couldn't get myself to go to work. I would call in all the time. I would stay up late at night, watching movies or whatever, listening to sad songs, and it was like poor me, pity me. But I was depressed, and I didn't know how to get out of it. And then coming into the following school year, I lied to all of my friends and was like, yeah, all my classes are online, so I got this really awesome gig going on, but really I wasn't in school because I'd failed out. And I finally started to apply to jobs because I was like, I don't have any money, I can't pay for rent, like my roommates are gonna get kicked out because I'm not paying my portion. So I did get a job, but then I would call in all the time because I was just so depressed. I was depressed because what started with a breakup, and that I kind of got over that, but then I was depressed because I failed out of school, because I was lying and hiding things from my friends that never really even wanted to hang out with me. I was depressed because I didn't have any money. Like at one point at this time in my life, there was this thing online where they would give you like $100, but then in 2 weeks you had to pay them back $150. And so I would do that because I didn't have any way to eat or anything. I was literally donating plasma to be able to feed myself and try to save up some to put towards rent. And I was trying to get myself up and going. I started going to therapy. I was on multiple medications. And then one day I literally decided, you know what? I think I'm gonna join the military. So I woke up one day, I got in touch with somebody, I went and met with someone in person, and then within like a couple days I was enlisted in the military. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even tell my dad right away, and I just did it. I didn't know what I was doing. I was so broken financially, mentally, just like my entire life felt like it was coming crashing down on me, and I had no money at all, no friends. So I joined the military, went there, got saved up a little bit of money, not much because I was so far in debt that all the money that I did make was like going towards paying off, you know, whatever else I was in debt with. My bank account was absolutely more in the negatives than it was ever in the positives. And so I come back, I'm feeling a little better. I did get back into school, which was really, really awesome. That I had to appeal multiple times. I had to go to counseling. I had to get back on medications. And I was starting to do better. Things were going pretty good. I was living in this house with other girls. I was going through school. I eventually moved into my own place, got a dog, got a job in retail, and things were going okay. And then at that point I met my now fiance, which we joined the military at the same time. We were in the same unit. And I was like kind of lying to him. Like, he didn't know how broke I was because I was still pretty broke, but I was getting by, like living paycheck to paycheck, getting by. I was taking 21 credits in school. I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment. I had a dog, still have my dog. I was working retail. So I had a lot going on. I was working full-time retail, 21 credits. And then of course I still had to make time to study because I wanted to graduate. I really wanted to graduate. I was going to see a therapist like 3 times a weekish because I was still kind of struggling. And I was hiding all of that from my new boyfriend, who I really, really liked. And I remember one of my classes, I met this girl she was in a lot of my classes. We did a couple of projects together. And I remember seeing something on social media. She shared her like before and after photos of this fitness thing that she was doing. And she looked happy. Like, she looked so happy. And I wanted that more than anything because even though I was really excited about this new boyfriend, I was really unhappy. Like, I spent a lot of my nights eating a frozen pizza to myself, snacking on a candy bar, having a soda, and watching Netflix. And I saw that she was happy and that she looked awesome. Like, she looked fantastic. And so in class, I asked her, I was like, hey, like, you look really awesome. What is it that you're doing? And she told me, and I went home and I was like, I'll just keep doing my thing. But it kept getting into my head, like how happy she looked. And that's all I could focus on, was that she looked happy. And so I was like, you know what? Sign me up. Let me do this thing. And it was these at-home workouts in this program that was like only 30 minutes a day, and you're drinking this shake and whatever. So I was like, you know, I'll give it a try. And so I signed up. I had to donate plasma to be able to afford it and to be able to still kind of feed myself. I was still really broke. And so I signed up. I did it, and I was excited. And that's kind of the whole thing right there. It was the first thing that I'd been really excited about in a really long time. When I got my package in the mail, I reached out to her and I was like, oh my God, I got this. I'm really excited to get started. And she put me into this group, and it was just me, her, and one other person. And I didn't even care that there were only 3 of us in this group. I woke up at 6 a.m. I woke up at 5 a.m. I had to leave by like 6 a.m. to go do a couple study things and like get ready for class and all this other stuff. So I woke up at 5 a.m. I did my workout. I started to feel good, and I was kind of excited to wake up. It wasn't always easy, but I noticed that I started to feel good, and I started to be a little happier, and I started to have a little more energy and a little more excitement throughout my day. And so I went on, and I did all 3 weeks, and I stuck to the program, and it was only 30 minutes a day, and I stuck to the nutrition guide. And I took before and after photos, and after the 3 weeks, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I look great. I felt confident. I was complimenting myself, which I hadn't done in a really long time. I was happy, and it was awesome. And I was like, you know what, like, I really want to keep drinking this shake because, oh my God, it tastes so good, and I can tell that it's making me feel different and better. But I don't want to keep paying. Like, I really can't afford it. And so she told me that, well, you can sign up to be a coach and you can get a discount on it. You don't actually have to coach if you don't want to. You can literally just be a coach and get a discount on it. I was like, sign me up. I didn't hesitate. I just asked her to sign me up because I loved the shake. It was making me feel good. The workouts were giving me energy, and I was able to get a discount on it. And then I started to hear more about the coaching thing, and I just thought, you know what, maybe I'll start to share, I'll share my progress, and just kind of put myself out there. Mind you, prior to this, I had gone an entire year without posting on social media at all. So that was really kind of scary for me because I had it in my head that I was so worried about what anyone would think of me because I had lost so many friends. So I'd gone an entire year without posting on social media to all of a sudden I'm going to post these before and after photos with this huge excitement that I was doing. I was just sharing my journey. And then all of a sudden that post like blew up. People were complimenting me. They're like, oh my gosh, you look so good. What are you doing? How can I do that? And I reached out to my coach and I was like, what do I do? Like, people are interested. And then I was like, should I send them your way? And she's like, no, like, you can make a commission off of this. You can run a business. And I was like, what? What? Me? No. So anyways, I just started messaging these people that were showing interest. And I was like, hey, thanks so much for your support. That means so much to me. I was really scared putting myself out there. Do you have your own fitness routine? And I was just kind of asking them questions. And they're like, no, but I would love to get on one. Like, you look awesome. Like, what are you doing? And I just was sharing what it is that I was doing. It's like this workout, I can totally do it from home. It's only 30 minutes a day. And, whatever. And so then I made a little bit of money. And then I started to look more into it. And I was like, okay, I don't really have a lot of time because remember, I was taking 21 credits, working full-time in retail, studying, had a dog, had a new boyfriend, whatever. And Tyler, my boyfriend at the time, was like, encouraging me. He's like, wow, like, good job. Way to go. Because also I was that person who wanted nothing to do with fitness. I knew nothing about fitness. I knew nothing about exercise or how to work out or how to eat healthy or any of that. So I have no background in anything like that. I have no background in any like network marketing or anything like that. Okay. So I just started sharing what it was that I was doing. I was excited. And so I did a little more research and I heard this girl's story. This top coach, one of the top coaches in the network, I heard her story and it really resonated with me. And I saw that she was earning like $4 million a year. And I'm not saying like, come into this and you're gonna earn no, it takes work. It definitely takes consistency. It takes a special type of person to do this business. But her story, not necessarily the money, that her story resonated with me about how she changed her life. And I was like, man, I've been so unhappy for so long. I need something, not a want, I need to change my life. And I had started that with the workouts. I started to feel better, and so I knew that I was making changes one way or another. So then I started to kind of look more into coaching, had her story in the back of my mind, and I would go through it a little bit. Little by little, I did a little bit each day and started to learn a little more and took things kind of step by step, kept sharing my journey and other stuff on social media. Fast forward about a year or so, and Tyler and I are still together, and then we got pregnant. And I was in my last semester of school, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I panicked. I was like, what am I gonna do? At this point, I was not in retail anymore. I was bartending my last semester of school. Now I'm pregnant. And my brother was my roommate at the time. And so I talked to Tyler, and I was going through school and trying to figure out, okay, like, how am I going to take care of this child? Whatever. And so thankfully though, because I had been exercising and because I had been drinking Shakeology and all this other stuff, I was able to get off of all of my depression medication. I was on 3 different medications. I was able to get off of that completely because of exercise and Shakeology. And I think just like the community of coaches that kept me happy. And so I'm going through my last semester of school. I'm trying to stay a little more consistent with this coaching thing. I still hadn't been super consistent. I don't think I really had that belief in myself, to be completely honest. But going through in about 20 weeks pregnant, we go for an ultrasound and everything like looks good. Heartbeat sounds great. Get home, a couple hours later, I get a call from our doctor, and he said, Megan, do you have a minute? I was like, yeah, sure. And he goes, we were just reviewing the ultrasound and we're not entirely sure what it is, but it looks like your baby has a hernia. And honestly, like, if I'm being, I didn't really know. I didn't understand. I didn't really know what a hernia was. I didn't know what that meant. I thought like everything was gonna be fine, but he sounded concerned. And so I was like, okay, so now what? And then he told me, so okay, you're gonna come in. We're gonna have to do an amniocentesis, which they stick a huge needle in you and pull out some fluids to be able to test multiple things. And basically, when we went in, they they told me we had to go see a specialist, and she told me, Megan, you have to fill out these forms, and if the results come back of what we think it is, we're gonna have to induce you at 22 weeks because your baby's not gonna make it. I was 23 years old at this time, and they told me that for an unplanned pregnancy that my baby wasn't gonna make it. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was going on really. And so Tyler was there with me. I filled out all the paperwork. We got everything. I was struggling to get myself out of bed. I was throwing up because I had such bad morning sickness. Um, it was hard, and I was waiting for that phone call for the test results to come in and everything. And finally, about a week later, I got a phone call, and I was in class, and I left class to answer the phone, and it was the specialist. She's like, Megan, we got the test results back, and the chromosome that we thought that would be off is perfectly fine. Your baby has an omphalocele, meaning that her insides were growing on the outside of her body. So you have a very high risk pregnancy. We need to watch it very closely. But looking at everything, since that chromosome is fine, I think your baby's gonna make it. And that was such a sigh of relief. I had prayed so much over the past week. I had, just really opened up and expressed my feelings and have been like thinking, God, that I was healthy enough from this exercise and from Shakeology and everything, to not have to be on all these medications, and that I myself was making it through. And then like everything was kind of going okay. So everything's okay. I'm going through school and everything, checking up doctor's appointments. Tyler and I are trying to find a place together so we can have our baby. And then her heartbeat wasn't like kind of where it was supposed to be. So we had to schedule a C-section at 37 weeks. Had her at 37 weeks. We were in the NICU for a month, and I was not able to hold her for that entire first week and a half of her life because of her insides that were on her outsides. So we had to stay in there, make sure everything was okay, nothing burst, nothing got tied or anything like that. And so for the first like 6-7 months of her life, she had to have this brace around her and couldn't do a lot of other stuff that normal babies could do. She's great and healthy now, running around like crazy. She's almost 2 years old, so things really worked out. But so when we came home, I looked at Tyler and I realized we were just in the NICU for a month. We almost lost our baby in the beginning. I don't want to go back to work. Can I please, I'll work really, really hard at this coaching thing. I promise I'll work hard. I'll stay consistent. Can I please not go back to work yet? And he said, okay. And he gave me 6 months. He said, you can have 6 months to work really hard to increase your income. I'll give you that time. I said, okay, I can do it. I'll do it. And so that 6 months I had, and I was, oh my gosh, like I gotta be home with my baby girl. I was doing this thing that I genuinely love. I was getting fit and staying healthy on my own. I was setting a good example for her. And then all of a sudden we're approaching this 6 months and we're looking at my income, and Tyler's just like, you don't have to go back to work. Like, you're doing great, keep going. And now Blair's almost 2 years old and I'm making more money than I would have. It took me a while to get here, and I'm constantly growing. Our team is constantly growing. The community of our team is getting bigger and better and happier and more supportive. And you can too. And maybe you can't resonate with any of that story. Maybe some of that like hit you in your heart and you're like, I need to change my life. Remember, I grew up very poor and I failed out of school and I drank a lot and I almost lost my baby. And we're still renting our home, but next year we're going to be able to buy a home, in a fairly nice home at that, because of this coaching business. Tyler was able to cut his work hours down because of my income, because of the hard work that I've put in, and that you can put into. So I hope that this sat with you well in some way or another. Remember, I don't have any sort of marketing degree at all. I just got started on my own journey. I shared what it was that I was doing, not like look at me or buy from me, just sharing and inviting people to join me, because this is an amazing opportunity and I will scream it from the rooftop like every single day, because it has changed considering joining our team.